So access and diversification is crucial. That's point number one. So like Shay was saying, when I first started in the DST space, it was really, as an analyst, right, at a broker-dealer, going through the DSTs, reading the appraisals, property condition reports, the environmentals, the zoning, looking at the pro formas, understanding how they were underwritten, the cash flow analysis, doing stress tests, just looking at the deals from a real estate standpoint, and then from there, digging into the securities offering, trying to understand, does this make sense? Is it reasonable? What are the potential benefits? What are the potential risks? Really digging in, that's how I cut my teeth, and so we're still doing that today. But what I saw back then was that investors, oftentimes working with their wealth manager or financial planner, only had access to one or two different DSTs, okay? And so they're coming into an exchange, a 1031 exchange, and they have a great relationship with their wealth manager. And they've worked with them for 20 years on their stock and bond and insurance portfolio. And then all of a sudden they have an exchange for $1 million or $5 million or $10 million. And next thing you know, the financial planner is saying, oh, real estate, I can help you with that too. Here's the best deal in the market. And I looked at that and kind of thought, from my real estate background prior to that analysis background, I was on a multifamily brokerage team in San Diego. I kind of, compared that to when investors would come to us back then looking for, I want to invest in apartments, I want to buy an apartment building. As the brokerage team that I was on, we didn't go, here's the best deal in the market, buy this one. No, we pulled the market, saw what's available on and off market, provided those to the investor. Here's 15 different deals that make sense based on your criteria. And then the investor was able to compare and contrast and really dig in and understand which one of those buildings made the most sense. Or, if you're buying a single family home, maybe for yourself, a family member, maybe just as a rental home, and you talk to an agent, say, I want a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, I can go up to this. They don't just show you one or two houses, right? They're going to show you the market. They're going to give you options. You're going to get to understand the market, right? And I compared that to, that in the real estate world to what was going on in the DSTs, because DSTs, they're real estate, but it's also a security. You have to have the right licensing. It's not easy to get the licensing. And so, the wealth managers, they had the right licensing, but they didn't understand real estate, and they only had access to one or two deals. And so I thought to myself, investors need choices. Investors need options, right? When you're in a 1031 exchange, everybody's goals and objectives, they're different. Everybody's risk tolerances are different. It's not a one-size-fits-all approach in the DST space. You need to have options. And so my first point is that access and diversification is crucial. It's crucial to investors to be able to have access to a plethora of opportunities when you're in a 1031 exchange so that you can understand how everything looks, how everything stacks up, compare and contrast the sponsors, look at the potential pros, look at the potential cons of the offerings, and decide for yourselves, right? Everybody's different stages of lives, different circumstances. And so that's what we did with the K Properties platform, is we brought together 25 of the different DST sponsor companies in the space, which we have about 5 of them here today to talk with you, onto our marketplace. And it kind of hadn't been done before. People had different broker deals that have 1 or 2 offerings, and here's what you get to choose from. And that's where we created the marketplace, and it's been really, really widely adopted by our investors nationwide. And so you're going to get to see, when you log into the K Properties marketplace, you're going to see all those sponsor companies, typically 25 to 30 different sponsor companies, all their offerings. We have 20 to 40, sometimes 50 different offerings available. Everything's different. There's different asset classes, different structures. We have debt-free, we have leverage, we have highly leveraged, we have all the asset classes, and from multiple companies. So you as an investor get to understand the market, understand what's out there, understand the different strategies. And with your K advisor, you're going to be walk you through the pros and cons and the risk factors associated. So that's what we did, and it's been incredibly successful for our investors to show them what they have available. And that diversification piece, again, like Shay was saying, is the way that investors are able to potentially protect themselves from a catastrophic situation.